Hi guys, I hope you're all well and happy and enjoyed the little opening sequence there. So it's been quite a while since I've done anything with HeroQuest, and well, I thought it was about time I changed that, as obviously this is a fantastic game to play with family, friends, kids, everything. Yeah, it's just awesome. And with the next expansion hitting our desks, well, any day now, yeah, I thought it was a perfect time to, well, make something for the next expansion. And if you haven't seen it yet, obviously it's the Jungles of Delthrak. And yeah, I've seen a few sort of clips of it and the miniatures look fantastic. Although I preferred the, the sneak peek of this, whether this was true or not. But this opening scene I absolutely love. So this is what I'm going to recreate. So start with my MDF board. Whenever I do sort of make things, I have a rough idea in my head what I'm going to do. But often things change as I start making it. So I've got a few miniatures here just to use as a reference, as obviously, well, these are the figures that I'm going to be using for this board. So this board is going to be kind of like a diorama display, just like an opening scene to play in the game, which is pretty cool. So yeah, roughly sort of drawing out a few bits here. I'm going to have obviously like an Aztec looking jungle monument here, full of trees and leaves and bits and pieces. Obviously I want to have some steps coming out, but I want to have it so it's coming out of a, well, like a gorilla skull, just to give it that sort of wow factor. And yeah, so there you go. Ignore the really bad drawing skills, but this is kind of what I'm going for, and well, I think I kind of achieved that quite well. So rather than 3D printing lots of bits and pieces, yeah, I'm going to use this, the Creality Falcon Pro, and this one's a 40 watts laser engraver. Yeah, I've used a few of these in the past, and to say they're so much fun is an understatement. To actually have a real working laser engraver in your own place is just nuts. So a little bit of assembly, not too much, goes together real easy. And obviously the good thing with this one is it comes with a little extractor fan, as yeah, I do these things in my little flat. So having something that is going to suck out all the fumes, chuck it outside, is just awesome. Couple of things to connect, 2 USB leads, one's to a camera. I'll talk a bit more about that in a moment, but the camera inside this is just amazing and makes things so much easier. And then the other one just connects straight to my computer. You can stick things on a little mini HD and stick them in the side, but yeah, you can connect it to the computer as well. A few safety buttons here as well, so you've got 3 buttons to turn this thing on, which is really good. And obviously the emergency stop button there, if you do notice anything, well, anything that shouldn't really be happening. There was a link down below, guys. Well, there's several links down below because they are doing some big deals at the moment. A big flash sale, which is saving a lot of money. So if you are interested in getting one of these, now is definitely the perfect time to be doing that. So I've used a few laser engravers in the past, and say the fact this one is fully enclosed does make it so much safer and, well, easier to use. So the board I'm using, yeah, 3mm MDF board. And the software I'm using is Lightburn. Again, this is really easy to use. Yeah, guys, if I can use this, say I'm a very simple man, simple needs, and like things that are simple to use. And this is certainly that. So as you can see over on the right hand side there, yeah, you can see the camera setting. And I say this makes things so much easier because you can do an overlay of what the actual, well, the laser engraver has got in there to engrave on. So as you can see, I've got my board underneath, so I can just move the tiles around that I want to do. So the first thing I'm doing is the main floor. And what this is going to do, it's going to laser engrave into it some 1-inch squares, which is just awesome. So plenty of texture. And I say, it's just amazing what you can do these days with, well, lasers. I still can't believe you could just buy a laser and have it, have it in your own place to use. So I've got, obviously, any footage you see of this laser thing working, I've speeded up. You can change settings on things to obviously go faster, slower, more output from the actual laser engraver, depending on what it is you're doing, whether you're sort of like cutting or in this case laser engraving. So this did take quite a while, but again it was quite a large piece that I'm doing. So this is an A3 board, and I'm pretty much putting, well, squares over the entire side of it. But again, this is great because obviously when this is doing it, I'm off doing other bits. Obviously never leave these unattended. My desk is literally, well, about 5 feet away from this. And then there, this has come out, and well, I say it, I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but this is sort of like laser engraved in. It's nice and deep. You can feel all the ridges. And obviously once this is painted, yep, you'll be able to see these tiles well, even better than you can see them here. So obviously starting from the bottom upwards, that's the main board bit done. I did need to do the sort of outer edges because they're going to be covered with, well, the building, some trees, and, well, just general sort of foliage and stones. But as you can see, yeah, my miniatures, they fit perfectly on there. And now to, well, to sort of cut some bits out. So when I do this, the first thing I do is I set it so it actually does the laser engraving first. So everything you can see here, it's going to laser engrave, and then it's going to go around and cut all these bits out. And this is the bit, again, I love about laser engravers. How smart they are and how neat they are in cutting, well, straight lines. So I'm using 3mm MDF, but this bad boy, say the 40 watt, it can cut up to 20mm in one pass, which is just insane. So everything you see here, guys, all these Aztec things, yeah, I just basically went on Google, typed in Aztec symbols, and they all popped up. So the first things I've got on here are these steps. As obviously I wanted to say, to have a few levels to it, so it's going to raise up on steps, and then it's going to go into a big sort of Kong skull, well, head, I guess. So yeah, as you can see at the moment, it is just doing the laser engraving, and then the second pass it does is where it cuts everything out. And again, this is another great feature with this laser engraver. So everything that gets cut out, so as you can see, yeah, I mean, I love this. Just seeing how well it cuts things out. I've possibly got the speed, I probably could have gone faster, because as you can see, the edges of the MDF, yeah, they're a little bit sort of, well, burnt, crispy, but everything comes out nice and square cut edged. So it's got this tray underneath, which is just awesome. So all these little bits and pieces that were cut out fall through the gaps, and yeah, you can just pick them up from underneath. So yeah, awesome idea having this tray, making it so easy. So as I say, yeah, I probably did have the well, rather the speed, I could have gone faster, or maybe even the power a little bit less. So as you'll see soon, yeah, my fingers, they start getting a little bit messy here, but that's fine. I think the speed I had it on, yes, I could have gone faster. The power was only on about 60%. So yeah, I don't like to put things on 100%. Obviously you could if you wanted to, but as I am just cutting 3mm MDF, yeah, so I should have really put the speed up a bit more. This is where sort of trial, error, and, well, messing about with things, really. So as you can see, though, everything's cut out. Again, I love the fact you can cut MDF nice and straight, and obviously laser engrave on it. And that's just a case of gluing sort of the bits together. So this is kind of where I'm sort of laser engraving some bits, cutting them out, gluing them together, because I don't have, like I say, a rough idea or full idea of sizes. I literally am making this up kind of as I'm going along. So in my head, I've got a rough idea of how I want it to look at the end. But when it comes to sizes, yeah, sometimes you're better off sort of cutting a few bits, gluing them together, sticking them down, seeing how much room's left, to then sort of cutting some more bits out. So for the template itself, I could have just cut out loads of MDF and made up sort of like, well, boxes. But I thought it'd be easier just using some of this sort of packing stuff that I've got. Can't remember where I got this from. I will show you in another video. But yeah, got a variety of these bits. So it's just a case of sort of packing out areas with this. And then what I can then do is then cut out some more bits on the Creality Falcon Pro. And then sort of like attach them over the top, which just makes for a much easier and, well, I think a better way of making things. Say, I could have just cut out a whole load of MDF and made box shapes. But this is where I say I'm making things up as I go along. So the only bit on this that is 3D printed, yeah, that's the skull. Possibly could have had a go at making this out of plasticine and bits and pieces. But hey, why mess about doing that when I have a 3D printer? And yeah, a few hours later, I've got a lovely Kong skull. So again, if you want to get the Kong skull, guys, on Thingiverse, just type in Gorilla Skull. That's what I did, and that's what came up. So as I say, I am sort of making this up as I am kind of going along. So that's why it's a good idea to sort of say glue loads of bits of this blue sort of foam stuff, because then I can then just cut it to, well, to change it into whatever it is I'm sort of doing. Again, no real plan on this, just rough ideas, which often I think is the best way to go. So again, say this laser engraver, it's just awesome. In fact, you can just find a picture. That's all I was doing, looking on Google, finding Aztec sort of symbols, pictures, and then you can just laser engrave them out. So going towards the camera in this thing, this is why it is just amazing. So a lot of the MDF sheets, obviously I cut bits out, and then I have just little areas here and there. So to make it easy to line up bits that you want to cut out on sheets that have already like only got little bits left, put the sheet in, turn the camera on, so it's all like real-time camera stuff. You do the overlay, and then you can see exactly what areas you've got left that you can cut things out on. And I say this just makes this so much easier. Having this little camera is just awesome. So yeah, so I arranged a few bits that I needed, and as you can see, one of the bits, yeah, it's very close to, well, an empty space. But the good thing is I know the camera is showing me exactly what I can cut out, so I know this is going to come out, well, perfectly. And it also means that, yeah, any bits of MDF, don't throw any of them away because they're all usable, and you can obviously still cut bits out. But yeah, so I just love the fact I could laser engrave into MDF. I say I will have a little bit of a play around with some of the settings next time, as my fingers, yeah, they were a bit dirty. But there we go, it's coming on. Well, I say it's coming on, it looks like a dog's dinner, to be honest. But this is always a stage where I kind of like it, sort of the just chucking bits together, but I also don't like it. I haven't got OCD as such, but I don't like mess. And obviously this looks like, I say, like a dog's dinner at the moment, because it is kind of made up from a variety of, well, bits and pieces. So making a few sort of bits that I'm going to have on the floor here, just so it looks like there's some rubble. I say obviously this building, I want it to look like it's been here thousands of years, which is why it is going to be overgrown with some sort of, well, grass, leaves and all the rest of it. But I'm also going to go in and, well, make it not look as neat as it does. As you'll see in a minute, I use my Dremel tool to sort of, yeah, give it a bit of weathered damage. So for the sort of the basin and the ground, yeah, again, I keep things simple, guys. I like things that are simple, easy, fun, but look good. So I've got a variety of, well, there's not exactly stones. I think these things are like made of cork or something. I'm not too sure, to be honest. But so starting with the largest of the rubble, using some good old PVA glue because there's no rush for this stuff to dry. Yeah, PVA glue everywhere, and then this this bigger rubble on it. Again, not too sure what this stuff is actually made of. Feels like kind of cork because it's very light and kind of airy. And then I got some finer stuff. So I got some little, well, I think this is the stuff you get at the bottom of fish tanks. I know whenever I buy sort of basic materials, I tend not to, where possible, buy the expensive stuff. Again, I'm not tight, I'm just frugal. So yeah, so sometimes buying like the fish stuff, you can get big bags, like 1 kilogram, 5 kilogram bags for like sort of 3-4 quid, which is what you can pay for smaller little bags. So everything's kind of glued in place, but just to make sure it all sort of stays where it is, yeah, I've got a good old mix of PVA and water. I would say this is probably easily about 30-40% PVA, and the rest water. Didn't really measure it out, to be honest, just chucked in some water, chucked in some PVA, mixed it all up. Again, this is the kind of thing you do and then you leave overnight. So the other thing, obviously, I want to make up some big sort of trees, or branches or vines that are sort of like going all over the place. And yeah, I was going to do paper mache, but whenever I've done paper mache, it rather takes, well, days, weeks to dry, ends up going smelly. So this time I thought I'd keep it even simpler, and I'm just using some sort of kitchen towel, again with the old PVA and water mix, because then I know at least this is going to dry. It is going to take a good overnight, but yeah, say this is where I always have several projects on the go, because I really do, well, I love what I do. Yeah, I am such a big kid and I love making things, so I've got a whole variety of other projects coming up. Some obviously bigger ones like this, and some, well, smaller sort of projects. So I was kind of thinking after I'd done all the kitchen towel in the PVA that it might not actually, well, when it dried, it might not be that hard. So I've mixed up some plaster of Paris. It's just like the old white powder, bit of water, and then this stuff will obviously dry like, well, kind of like concrete. So yeah, I'm just putting a layer of this over everything again, and this will help with the texture as well. So yeah, guys, this is where I say sometimes I really do make things up as I go along. There's probably 100 better ways of doing what I'm doing, but sometimes it is just a case of using what we've got around us. Say I'm not a big YouTube channel. I don't have tons of money that I can just go and buy everything I need. So yeah, sometimes it is just a case of, well, using what's to hand, and the main thing, having fun. And yeah, loved how this came out. So most things are glued. There's a few loose bits here, so good old vacuum cleaner to the rescue, just to suck up all these bits, just so we can, well, not have any loose bits for when it comes to painting. And while I'm doing that, I just want to say a big thank you again to Creality for sending me the Falcon 2 Pro laser engraver, as this thing, it's just amazing. I love the fact it's all fully enclosed, and the fact that it has the extraction bit on it, so you can just send any fumes from cutting up the MDF and stuff straight out the window, which is just amazing. So yeah, guys, don't forget to check out the links down below, as they are doing, a big flash sale. And as of today, if you're watching it, there's about 17 odd days left, which is really good, and it is some big savings. So yeah, definitely check out the link down below. So just before I get to painting, yeah, I wanted to make a few little changes. Obviously, this big monkey, I don't want his teeth in the thing, because they kind of stop you, well, from getting inside this this temple. And I'm also going to use my little Dremel tool here, just to sort of, well, make some nicks and cuts and bits into everything. Just as I say, I don't want this to look too neat, a temple. It has been here a while, and it has, well, it's suffered a bit of damage here and there. And this is why I like using the 3mm MDF, as it really is easy to sort of cut and do things with. Even though, as I say, this Creality laser engraver, it can cut 20mm MDF, which is just, yeah, insane. So there we go. I've got it to a stage now that I'm really happy with. Looks quite distressed. Looks like there's plenty of vines and bits sort of growing around it. And I say, all these laser engraved bits. Yeah, I just love it. And here we go. This is it, obviously primed. I've actually primed it in a sort of a darkish brown, even if for some reason my camera seemed to have problems here, well, focusing and getting the colour right. So it's a dark brown, trust me on that. And then, yeah, it's going to be the same slap chop painting technique. Can't even talk now. Yeah, slap chop painting technique, as this, well, this works on everything. So whether it is miniatures, or as you can see in this, maxitures, that doesn't sound right, does it? Yeah, you know, I mean, big miniatures, dioramas, all the rest of it. Yeah, good old slap chop sort of painting. Again, this brings back, and you can sort of see all the detail in all those lovely cut MDF bits with all the little Aztec sort of symbols and bits and pieces. And I say, even for making the flooring, this is something you may have seen me do before, make these kind of floorings using the Creality Falcon 2, just because it is an easy way as well of making some sort of dungeon floors, which is just absolutely awesome. So painting this, yeah, I'm using the good old Green Stuff World dipping inks, but obviously this is quite a large thing, so I've got a big brush and I've got the big bottles of dipping inks. And this is another reason why I love the Green Stuff World ones. They do the 60ml ones, and these don't cost a lot more than the normal size bottles of the well, of its nearest competitors, I guess. So keeping fairly simple painting this. Obviously anything that's going to be like tree-like, root-like and all the rest, yeah, I'm just going over it with a nice old brown and letting the dipping ink do its magic. Yeah, it's going to pull in all the little nooks and crannies, and all the top edges. Yeah, it's going to be sort of very sparse and look very, very light in its brown. So that's really cool. And then for, well, anything sort of stone-like, one of my favourite go-to colours is green stone dip. And again, yeah, this works really well, as it's we don't even need to do any sort of like highlighting or dry brushing afterwards. I had considered going round and doing that, but yeah, this stuff, it goes on that well. Say pulls in all the little nooks and crannies and all the rest of it, but on the edges it stays very, very light. So yeah, I was considering going around the whole board and doing sort of some dry brushing, but when I looked at it, it was like, nah, I'm happy with how this looks. It doesn't need any dry brushing. I'm just going to yeah, keep it as it is, and then get cracking on and messing about with, well, all the sort of the grass and all the leaves of foliage and, well, all that kind of stuff really. So as I don't really do a lot of basing, yeah, somehow I seem to have accumulated quite a lot of, well, basing stuff. So yeah, I think it's time to crack on and, well, actually use some of this stuff. Some of these bits have been sitting in drawers, cupboards and the rest of it for, well, a good few years. So yeah, I say I buy stuff, or I get given stuff, hardly ever use any of it. But yeah, I always keep stuff, because you always think, well, you never know quite when you might want to use it. So some of these bits and pieces I'm putting on here, they have like glue at the back of them. Not glue, there's like double-sided tape. So they can just be sort of like put anywhere. But yeah, I'll just put PVA glue here and there, and then putting down a load of this stuff. So yeah, I had fun doing this because it really was a case of there's no sort of method here at all. It is a case of, well, get it everywhere. So yeah, the more the merrier, I kind of thought. Just because I want this thing to look really old, really ancient, and definitely very overgrown. Yeah, looking at the end result, I may have gone a bit over the top. But the thing is, I had fun. Like I'm always saying, yeah, this hobby, it is all about having fun. Yeah, and don't think too much either. Don't stress about things. Don't think about things too much. Just enjoy the moment, enjoy the process. But yeah, sometimes I can go a little bit OTT. But yeah, the end result, absolutely love it. And when you look at the board, it's hard to believe that, yeah, most of this was created with the, say, a Laser Engraver cutter, which is just crazy. So don't forget to check out the links down below, guys, to Creality Falcon 2's Pro enclosed Laser Engraver and cutter. Currently there's two that you can get the choice of. One is the 22 watt, and I say the one I'm using is the 40 watt. But say the one I'm using, I didn't have it anywhere near full power, and I had it going really fast. So yeah, for most needs, the 22 watt one would be perfectly. But although there is a 60 watt one coming out, I believe, very soon. And yeah, I can't wait to get my hands on that one and just see what I can make and cut up. But yeah, this is definitely ready to be used and playable, and does make for like a great opening scene of, well, of the adventurers getting into the actual dungeon. Well, that's how they can make it past the beasties and mobs that are outside. Okay, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to let me know in the comments what you thought of this, what you might want to see me make in the future. Especially, obviously, if it's HeroQuest related as well. I absolutely love this, and obviously Dungeons and Dragons. So any kind of miniatures you want to see me sort of make, paint, or whatever, let me know. Any kind of dioramas or builds, yeah, let me know them too. If you are new here, it'd be great if you could hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell, as I'm producing a couple of videos every week. Okay, guys, don't forget, like, share, subscribe, leave comments, all that great stuff. You guys take care. See you in the next one. Bye for now.